Hello and welcome to this week's Mystic Message. This week's Mystic Message is about a very important and relevant way in which all of us as humans, are giving our power away and negatively impacting our manifestations, our creations, what we want to create in our lives. And so this came through initially as a beautiful image, as things tend to for me, and a couple metaphors. One of the metaphors was the saying that is, there are two sides to every coin. And then the other one came through as this beautiful image of a just kind of a generic person, kind of cut down the middle, where it's mirrored on each side, and one side was white and one side was black. And it was this, and if this hand moved, this one moved. And it's about the balance and the counterbalance of light and dark. Everything in our universe is about balance, and everything in our earthly plane is also about balance. That is what Mother Gaia seeks out, is that harmonious balance. That is what the elementals and the nature spirits help to promote, is that harmonious balance. And this is not a new message. I talk about the balance between light and dark often, and the importance of acknowledging and accepting both. I always say the pendulum swings both ways, meaning the further into the dark that we can dive, the further into the light that we have capacity for, right? And so this is around a very particular, this is a subject we could talk hours and hours about, just this kind of duality nature of light and dark. But there's a very specific message here, and this is relevant for right now in your healing and growth journey. And if you want to create and you want to manifest, this might be what you are missing and not recognizing. So we don't want to turn our backs on either. And there are those who are maybe camp light, love and light. If you don't acknowledge that dark things exist, they can't hurt you. They can't touch you. There's that kind of naive essence there that has it's rooted in positive intentions, but that love and light crowd, that everything is good and peaceful and joyful, and we only want to seek out the positive energies, and that tends to lead to kind of some bypassing, avoidance, and resistance to lower frequencies. And then you have kind of Camp Dark. And Camp Dark can look like a couple things. It can be, those who love to go down the rabbit holes of the conspiracy theories, the things like, the Illuminati, and a lot of those darker kind of agendas. It can be those who work with darker beings, things like entities or demons or what have you. It can also be those who are comfortable in the kind of lower vibrational emotions that don't resist. But then, maybe it's the pessimist in your life who loves to stay negative and kind of hates on those who are positive. And so what we really want is to kind of find the balance of both. And when we find ourselves in one camp or the other, and this, you might see this extend beyond light and dark in other arenas of our reality. When we have two opposing energies, in this scenario, light and dark, and we pit them against each other, or we determine that one is good or bad, right and wrong. Because first of all, duality exists. Light and dark will always exist, and neither is right and wrong. The creator, whether you use God, source, the universe, whatever term you prefer, created it all. So they are equally valuable. But when we find ourselves maybe more in one camp than the other, or we find ourselves judging or demonizing the other, So I'm over here and I'm like, oh, you love and lighters, what losers, right? Judging. Or maybe you're over here and you're like, those who play with lower vibrational emotions or lower vibrational beings, like that's bad. That's, working with the devil. Like that's only going to end terribly. We're constantly judging each other and what is right and wrong. And the more that we pit these sides against each other, if you think light is right or wrong, or you think dark is light or wrong, you're taking you're taking duality, a fact of the universe, a law of the universe, the makeup, the nature of the universe, something that simply is, and you're polarizing it. And you're taking duality, something that simply is, and you're pitting it against each other. I'm right, you're wrong. You're right, or I'm right, you're wrong. And it's this back and forth, who's right and who's wrong. And the more that we sit in polarity versus the acceptance of duality, recognize the difference here in my terminology anyways. Doesn't matter how other people verbally share it. We all have different definitions for different terms. That's why I'm being very clear in how I'm using these terms. But the more that we sit in polarity, all we're doing is we're giving our power away to that thing. Last week's mystic message was about the fire knocking on the door that we want to let in. The fire is the passionate. It's our true self. It's our essence. It's our power. It's what we create and how we create it. It's passion. It's part of the bridge between our human and our soul. That fire gets, instead of being inside of us, we're giving it away to the other thing. It could be an example like, religion. It's bad. It's evil. It's corrupt, and it's based in fear and control and manipulation and disempowerment. And you're passionate about that, and your religion is bad. Religion is evil, and in all of these things. It doesn't matter your truth, my truth, any truth objectively. When you're in that space, you're putting the fire over here in the church, the thing that you don't like. Or, it could go in so many different directions. Same thing with those who, oh my gosh, going down the rabbit holes of conspiracy theories is bad. Don't do that. Again, you're putting your fire over there. So the more that we judge, and resist in a lot of ways these opposing energies, we're playing with the toxic sides of that. Both light and dark, they're energies. And, if you think of it like almost like a tarot card, right? Where we kind of almost have like a shadowy meaning and a lighter meaning. Each energy has a shadow and a lighter side to it. It has a positive and kind of a toxic trait, or even think like astrology, right? Every sign has its superpower and maybe some of its toxic energies. And when we are in judgment and polarity, our personal power, our fire, what we are wanting to create with is sitting over there in the thing that we don't like. And now we're just creating more of that. Or whatever frequency that is, we're creating more of that. I hate fear and control. I hate the government. All we're doing is fueling that, giving that our fire, and now that is getting bigger and stronger. All the things we don't like about it are getting bigger and stronger, and you're bringing that into your reality. So now we're manifesting that, because now our fire is over here, our focus and attention is over here, and now we're vibrating over here, and now we're attracting all of that, because law of attraction. And so we're screwing up our own manifestation by sitting in polarity and judgment. And when we sit in acceptance and embrace it, meaning, so maybe you're someone who loves to be in the higher vibrational emotions. I like joy, I like peace, I like serenity. I do everything in my power to avoid lower vibrational energies. They're bad. I don't want to spiral. I'm not going to do any of that. It's uncomfortable. I don't want to. So I'm going to keep myself busy. I'm going to fill up my calendar. Maybe I'm going to, go to the gym to keep my mind off it, or, have a glass of wine at the end of the day, whatever it is. I'm in resistance and avoidance and judgment of the low vibrational emotions. If we just accept and embrace it, if that example of that type of person lets those darker emotions in and just feels them and accepts that it's always there. You, again, back to this coin, you might just look at this one coin all day, every day. It doesn't mean that the other side isn't there. We can't just live in ignorance and pretend those things aren't there. And the more that we resist flipping that coin over or letting in those energies, the more we're giving our power away. When we sit in acceptance and we embrace the opposing energy when it decides that, it's coming in and I need to feel it. I need to feel those feelings instead of judging it. I just need to accept it. It's here for a reason. Even maybe some of the uncomfortable things in our reality that we don't like, even collectively we can agree these are bad, gross things. Accepting that there is a reason someone maybe contracted that. It's here to teach us lessons. Accepting that a lot of our lower vibrational experiences are to teach us things, and being in a place of acceptance about it. Your power now, instead of sitting over here or sitting over here, which again, it's outside of you, it's external, it's right in the center. Back to that image. If we cut me down in the center and this side was all light and this side was all dark, instead of my fire being over here or over here, it's right in the middle, right inside me, in my body, in all of my bodies as they layer on top. And now I am sovereign. Now I'm holding my personal power. Now my passion fire is within me. And now I can create from me instead of resistance and judgment and avoidance. Does that make sense? It's almost like the more reactionary that we are to these things that are polarizing. Politics is one of those things too, right? You're sick of hearing about it? Stop feeding it. Stop reacting to it. It's hard. I'm not saying any of this is easy by any means. This is why we do the shadow work. This is why shadow work is such a journey, because we're always doing it. We're always having to recognize those types of things. But the more reactionary we are, meaning I'm getting annoyed, I'm judging, I'm those heavy reactions that fire is outside of us because we're reacting to the thing. Versus that same thing, instead of judging it and having that extreme reaction, just feel, just be within whatever you are. Be in your energy, be in your sovereignty. Instead of being over here in that thing or over here to avoid the thing over here, be here. Feeling keeps your fire inside. Heavily reacting, judging, avoiding, resisting puts it outside of us. We are done bypassing. We have to recognize these things. It's never going to go away. This is always going to be a nature of this law of attraction theme. And if you want to be the divine creator that you came here to be, that is in your nature, it is in your DNA, it is part of your being, and you want to create the life that you want, and you want to feel joy maybe more often than anxiety, you have to accept and know that sometimes I am going to feel anxiety or overwhelm, and that's okay. And I can't resist it. The more I resist that, the more it's going to be knocking on the door because I'm feeding it over and over and over again. So we cannot avoid. We have to recognize those triggers, those judgments, those reactions, and the resistance. What are you resisting? What do you resist? And then face it. Look at it, be in it, accept it. And then you take your power back. And then you can create whatever you want. All right? Bye.